Hello everyone. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of this 2020 Honda CRV EXL and show you why it's an excellent family crossover. This is a very good car. Thank you to Honda of Bellevue for providing me with this 2020 Honda CRV EXL. They're an excellent place to look for new Hondas as well as used vehicles, so if you're in the Seattle area, check out Honda of Bellevue. I want to start off with the infotainment system in the middle here, and we can see that it's a very simple infotainment system. One thing I especially like about this system is that on the left, there's a volume dial, and many cars are now switching to having like these weird capacitive buttons that you have to tap like this or like that, or like scrub like that, and it's pretty awkward and it's not the intended way to really just change the volume. This car makes it very simple to change the volume. You just have this dial, and you change the volume by twisting the dial. It's pretty simple. There are a few capacitive touch buttons on the left, and here if I tap the home button, it will take us to kind of our apps display, and here we can see our basic apps. The first app is the audio app, and here we can look at all our different audio options. Here we go, we're playing Sirius XM at the moment. And if I turn this off now and go back here, so that was the audio section of the infotainment system. The second section is the info section, and I think this will give us some basic information. For example, we have the trip computer, we have the voice information here, we have the fuel economy. Here it is, like our fuel economy at the moment, and we also have the trip odometer here, and so we have a few options for that in the info screen. In the Honda Link screen, if we click over there, you can see it'll ask us to enable diagnostic data. Let me enable that, and then it will allow us to connect to the infotainment system and use our phone for that. You can also use our phone separately here, and what this will do is let me not add a phone at the moment here, but what this allows us to do is we can make phone calls straight from the system instead of having to take our phone out. So it's another nice feature. Finally, we also have a smartphone connection option. And basically what this will do is it will, if we plug in our smartphone via the USB port, it will allow us to connect our smartphone to the infotainment system. There's also the actual settings of the system here. So if you go to the settings, you can look at the clock, the information, the camera settings, etc. We have quite a few settings in the system. And the system itself is very simple, easy to use, and it's very responsive. Another thing I like about this system is that if you go to this little button here, it will take us to our apps, and one of my favorite apps is the calculator app. You can use a calculator within your car's infotainment system. So let's do some calculations. 59 times 33, and then that's equal to 2,537. So you have a calculator app in this car. If you go back to the apps section here, we also have a few other things. So we can go to the installer, and this will allow us to download something called an APK file, which will download an app to the car. And there's also our actual app download. So if we download any apps, it will list the downloaded apps over here. So I was talking about the capacitive touch buttons earlier, and these buttons are here on the left of the actual screen. So I was using this button at the home first, and obviously I'm on the home screen right now, so if I tap it, it kind of gives a warning. If I want to quickly navigate to the audio, I just tap the audio button, and there we go, we're in Sirius XM. So I'll turn that off. I can also quickly navigate to the phone, so let me tap that. And here it is, it asks for our phone information. Let me go back home. And below that, there's also a back button. So if you want to go back a few screens, for example, if you tap something by accident, like, oh, I tapped Honda Link by accident, I can quickly hit back to take us back a screen. Below that, there's also the brightness settings, so we can adjust our screen brightness here. Oops. And we can lower it like so, or we can increase it like that too. So those are the capacitive touch buttons to the left. Another thing I like about this car is the simple gauge cluster screen. You can see in the middle here, this is fully a screen. So if I turn the vehicle off by hitting the start stop button here, you can see it completely goes away, and there's even a nice little animation that plays with the Honda logo, which is nice. let me go ahead and put the screen back on here. And here we can see another cool animation plays to show that the car is ready. And we can see here we have quite a bit of information. The tachometer is a very cool layout. I really like this stripped layout on the top and the cool little digital speedometer in the middle. And it also gives some information here. As you can see, I don't have the car currently, the engine currently on right now. So it's telling that I can start the engine by doing this. But that's the basic screen here. On the left, we also have some other cool looking dials. I really like the format of the temperature dial here, as well as the fuel dial on the right. Overall, this car looks really nice. I really like the gauge cluster in this car. It just has a very nice layout, and also the screen in the middle is very helpful. So I'm not quite done with the gauge cluster screen yet, because there are also controls to the screen. If you look at the left side of the steering wheel here, we can see we have this little D-pad. And you can use this pad to change our controls. To first access the different options, there's this little button, and if we hit that button, it will give us the different options. And then we can use the D-pad and then change our different options here. So we have the info option, for example, and that will give us some information. Here we have the unit settings, and here we can look at our phone information. So if you connect the phone, we can look at the phone there. We also have our radio information there. You can see it's currently telling that the radio is not on. We have the some other general statistics here, like so. And let me go ahead. Oh. And there we go. And we also have this information here. I'm not fully sure what this does. It might be how much power is getting sent to the wheels. And that's a cool little statistic. And then you can also look at this here, and this will give us our driver attention level, which is a cool little idea. So what this does is, this will measure the attention level of the driver, and if the attention level is small, you might have to focus more down the road. And it's a really cool statistic over there. I really like that idea. If we go back to the screen, the last thing we have is our fuel range that is estimated to be left. So that the climate controls are not buried in this screen in the middle so that you can have multiple things at once, the climate controls are down here, and we can see we have physical buttons to control the climate. First, we have the fan speed, so we can go ahead and hit the down button, and that'll give us some statistics in the information in the infotainment system screen. There we go, to show the fan speed. If you hit the climate button, it'll bring up more options in the screen, where we can look at the fan speed can be adjusted here, where the climate is going, as well as the AC. That can all be adjusted in the screen, but it doesn't have to be in the screen. You can also adjust it here. Here on the left, we have our temperature dial, and that is also displayed in the screen in the top, left, and right corners. And if we push, that'll give us automatic temperature. On the right, we have the same thing, and you can also sync the temperature if we push it like so. On here, we can see that we have the on-off button. This will turn the fan on and off. We have recirculating air and fresh air buttons too. And we also have the front and rear defoggers. Also on the left, the heated seat buttons are also here, so you can turn on the heated seats for both sides. It's a very simple to use physical climate control display, and I like having that so I don't have to go to the infotainment system every time to adjust climate controls. Here in the middle, there are also a couple of other buttons. So on the left, this is just the electronic parking brake, as well as the brake hold button. The brake hold button, if you press that, what it will do is it will, if you hold the brake down, you can leave your foot off the brake and it'll hold the brake until you hit the accelerator, which is a cool little feature. So if I hit that, it will enable that. Here is the auto engine start stop button. So if you hit that button, it'll go ahead and show in the gauge cluster that it's enabled. If you hit it again, it will enable or disable it. So what this does is it will automatically stop the engine at a stoplight. So if you're not moving for a while, it'll just auto stop the engine. That's a cool feature that will allow you to save some fuel. There's also an economy button. So if I hit the economy button, it will go ahead and enable economy mode, and that will allow us to be a little bit more fuel efficient. And I can also disable it by hitting the button again. In the middle, there are also USB ports that we could use. So the one on the left is for charging, as well as connecting the phone to the infotainment system. So if you want to connect it here for phone statistics, etc., you can plug it in this port. This port is just for charging, so if you have another device, you can charge it using that USB port. In the middle, behind those USB ports over there, we have some storage in the front, as well as 2 cup holders to store drinks. And the gear selector is in the middle over here, and it's a good placement because if you put it down here, it's more difficult to store cups because you can't really put the cup holders that are here up there. That wouldn't make sense. So the gear selector is moved up there, and the cup holders are now easily able to be placed over here, so you can store cups as well as some extra storage in the front. Around back, there's some extra top panel storage, but you can also push this back like so, and there's some even deeper bottom panel storage. And in here, if I can show that, well, this is a power outlet. So this here, I don't know if you can see that well, but that is a 12-volt power outlet, so you can plug in devices using that power outlet. If we put this back, you can also open up this center console. So this is the armrest, obviously. But we can also open it up, and if I open it up, there's even more storage behind there. So this car has a lot of storage options in the front. You will never run out of storage in this vehicle. Another cool feature I like is this little mirror system. So if you hit this, it'll open up a mirror, and you can also store your sunglasses there. But if you push it up just a little bit, like so, it'll lock into this position, and now this is a mirror. So while you're driving, if you want to look at what's happening in the back, you can just look at it using this mirror, and everything is clearly visible. It's a nice idea, and I really like that it's right here. And it's very easy to access. All you have to do, you just hit that, and move it up like so. And there we go, you have easy access to whatever is happening in the back. Next up, I want to talk about rear seat room in this car. And as you can see, I'm 5'4", and if I look up here, let's do the headroom test that I typically do. So this is the camera, and I have a lot of headroom between the camera and the roof. I also have a lot of room between the back of the front seat and my knees. So you can see I have a lot of room here, and so the back seat is a very comfortable place to spend time. There's also some amenities back here. Here we can see we have the center armrest. I could fold that down, and we have 2 cup holders that the rear passengers can use. There are also, here is the lighting in the middle. You can turn that on. I think I put that the wrong way. There we go. So that's the middle lighting. And there are also rear seat climate vents. So here, there's a vent for the rear passenger over here on my left, as well as the rear passenger for the right. And there's also 2 USB ports. I can go ahead, open that up, and open that up. There we go. And there are 2 USB ports that the rear passengers can use. So there's quite a few amenities back here for the rear passengers to enjoy. Another feature I like is that this car can recline. So I think, yeah, this is going to be a pair. So this left side is a pair, and this side is an individual seat. So what you can do here to recline is this little latch behind you. And if I do that, it'll go forward for a bit, but then if you do that, you can recline back a little bit. And now you can see, if I show you from this side, this is where the middle seat is. It's more straight compared to the more reclined version of this right seat. So you can recline in this car, which is nice on long road trips. However, if your desire is to not recline, but rather is to just fold the seat down, it's very easy to do that too. All you need to do is take this latch, and then it'll fold down, and now you have a larger cargo capacity. This is the pair seat, so this will give a 3-seat configuration with a lot of cargo. If you fold down just that side, that'll give a 4-seat configuration with a little less cargo, but still quite a bit. Alright, so let's have a look at the tailgate. There are 2 ways to open the tailgate. One, you can just open it from the key fob. You can just hold this button, and that'll open the tailgate. Or, behind here, you can also hit this button, and that will also open the tailgate like so. In here, we have quite a bit of space. So here we have some cubbies where you can store areas. So store items. So there we go. You can store items here as well as there. And there's also obviously a lot of cargo space, so you can put many items in the back. There's also this little loop If I pull that, oh my goodness. If I pull that like so, you can see we have a full-size spare tire, which is very nice, as well as a jack so you can lift it up to make a change. This is a very nice feature. Most cars have abandoned the spare tire, but it's nice to see that this car continues to have it. I almost forgot to mention this. If you look here, this is actually a very cool feature. Right now, the cargo area is level with the seats. We can see that over there. This is the seat and this is the cargo floor. It's level at the moment. So if you fold down the seat using these latches in the back, like so, you can see that the cargo area will be level, so you have a flat load floor. But if you want more cargo space instead, all you can do is just lift this up and then you can drop it down a spot. So now you have more cargo space. However, the floor won't be level. And this is a very, very cool feature. This will allow you to pick between, do you want a flat load floor or extra cargo space? And you have both options, unlike just one option in most other vehicles. Back here, there's a nice little button here. So obviously this will close the tailgate. But here there's also some text telling that we can hold it to set the height. So if I hold this right there, this will set the height of the tailgate. So if I go ahead and do that and lower it, and now we can see that it's a little bit lower. So if you have like a area where you're, for example, you're parking in a garage and it's a limited height and you don't want it to go more than this, you can just hold this button and every time you open the tailgate, it will stop here instead of going the whole way up. And that's a good idea if you just want to keep it under a specific height, for example, for parking garages. This car also has a smart keyless entry system, so all we need to do is we can take the key and put it away, and right now the car is unlocked. To lock the car, we just hit this pad, and there we go, the car is locked. To unlock the car again, we just go ahead and put our hand behind, and that will unlock the car and we can get inside. The key itself on this car is also very easy to use. So you can see here on the back, it's just the Honda logo in the back here. And there is the physical key that I'll take out and show you. Here on the top is the lock button that'll lock the car. In the middle is the unlock button that'll go ahead and unlock the car. Here is the remote start button. So if we hit that, that'll remotely start the vehicle from the key. That's a very nice feature. For example, if it's really cold and you want to keep the heater running, you might just remotely start the vehicle and then get in and it'll be warm. Here's the panic button. So if you hold that, it will sound the alarm. And also here is the tailgate button. So if you hold that, that will open up the tailgate. There's also a way to open up the physical key in this car. So I'll show you how to open up the physical key, and I'll show you the video of it opened. Okay, so in scenarios where you might want a physical key, for example, if the battery dies out and you need to get in the vehicle, it's very easy to do that. All you need to do is hold this little button, and then it's very difficult to do it with just one hand because I have the other one with my phone, but you just hold this here, and then you can slide the key out. And then once you get the key out, it'll look like this. So you can see here's a physical key, and this will slot right back in. And this is how it looks without any key attached. Here, this will just have the electronic components. This is the actual physical key. So if you need to, you can go ahead and put this in the car. So let's go ahead and imagine that the battery runs out and we need to get in the car. Here is the physical key. You can just put that in. That will unlock the car manually, and then we can get inside using the physical key. This car also has quite a few safety features, and I'm going to highlight some of them over here. So the first one is the blind spot monitoring assist system, and this is very nice. So what happens here is if the car is in this car's blind spot, for example, let's say a car is about here, and the blind spot monitoring system is about there, this car will detect that, and it'll tell you, hey, you don't want to change lanes at the moment. There's a car in your blind spot. That's a very nice system to have over here. It's a very good safety feature. In the middle here, there are also 3 buttons. And this first one is the Vehicle Stability Assist. Let me show you that. So I'll turn it on here. This is the Vehicle Stability Assist system. That's the button on the right over here. Here, is the collision system mitigation. So if you turn that on, you can see here it says the collision mitigation braking system is off. So this will help you to avoid a collision in the front. So for example, if you're gonna go really close to a car, it'll automatically brake so that you don't crash into the car in front. Let me go ahead and turn that back on. Here we go. And here is the road mitigation warning system. So this is road departure mitigation. So what this will do is this will help you to make sure that you stay in your lane so that you're not drifting off. And this is also a nice safety feature so that you don't crash into the cars on your side. There are also a couple of design elements I would like to look at here. So first off is the front turn signal, and I really like the way this looks. It's a very nice thin little strip, and it looks really cool, and it's also fully LED, and it looks really nice. And another thing I wanted to look at is these. These are very nice looking wheels. I really like the way these look, and they flow well the overall design of this car. The Honda logo in the middle here, and you can see these nice little spokes on the outside, and also we have some very nice looking brakes as well. These wheels do look really nice. Also, the turn signal on the side of the mirror also looks really good. Another thin strip of LED light. It looks really nice on the mirror of this car. And if we move around back, the rear turn signal is also really cool. It has this very nice little tall LED strip, and it looks really nice. It's definitely a very big change from prior CRVs. This just had a halogen bulb around there. This one has a really cool LED strip, and I really like the way it looks. Around back, this is the taillight design. It has this really cool little effect here where it kind of starts around there and it wraps around all the way to about there. And I really like the way these taillights look. And here it is on the other side. See, a beautiful little lighting pattern. It's a similar story up front here. So in the front we can see we first have a halogen headlight over there, and I really like the way the daytime running lights are like. You can see it starts there and it kind of sweeps all the way down, and it slowly kind of goes into the body, and it looks really cool. I really like the way that the daytime running lamps look. Also below here, this is the fog light. You can see there, this is a nice white fog light. So there's a lot of lighting in front. The daytime running lamp looks really nice, and the tail lights also look really good. I want to look at styling of this car, and this car looks really nice. I really like the lines. It has a nice crossover shape, and overall this car has just a generally good look. One thing that I especially like is the color of this car. So this blue, it looks really good, and I think it flows well with the wheels and just the overall design. This blue looks really good. It kind of has a nice unique style to it, especially with this color. So under the hood of the 2020 Honda CRV EXL is a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. This produces 190 horsepower and around 176 pound-feet of torque, and this is very competitive with cars in this segment. It gives potent power to this car. Overall, we can see this is here it says turbo. Honda logo is nice and printed there, as well as it says Earth Dreams. It's a very nice slogan. I like to see that on the engine. You can also see a lot of the things here is exposed. That looks really cool. I like it when components are exposed. That way we can kind of see what's happening inside the car. It looks really cool under here, and I really like this car when it's under the hood. And so that's the Honda CRV EXL. This car is an excellent vehicle for providing many different safety features, a lot of technology, very good styling, and most important of all, an excellent family crossover experience. If you're looking for a compact crossover to take your family around, or just as a nice vehicle overall, this car is a great pick.